Hey there friends, welcome back to Strange Rebel Gaming. I'm Brianna. Today we're going to be talking about the little game that could, Life is Strange. Specifically, we're going to be talking about Before the Storm Episode 1. I had to kind of decide, should I wait till Before the Storm is done to do an entire review of the entire game, or should I do reviews in episodes? And I decided, why not do both? So today is going to be the review of episode 1 of Before the Storm. Now, you guys know that I usually do Let's Plays. I kind of stick to that with the occasional Theseus Theory exception video, but I'm kind of trying to get more into reviews and talking with you guys and getting opinions and all sorts of fun stuff like that. Today we're going to be trying out this new format for game reviews, which is something new that I'm trying, so let me know if you like it or not. We're going to be talking about the things that I love and the things that I hate. And then we're going to smush them all together and do a final cumulative thoughts at the end. As always, I'll warn you, hella spoilers are inbound. So if you haven't played the game and you don't want it spoiled for you, get the heck out of here and go watch my Let's Play. Alright, but wait, before I begin, I have to tell you about this awesome shirt I'm wearing. And look at this amazing pillow with my new logo on it. It's dope AF. I have a merchandising announcement to make, and I'm going to be posting that video tomorrow at 12 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, so check back and enjoy. Let's get on to the review, says I. What I loved. Wow, that was awkward. I'm not very good. Maybe my left eye? No, just forget the wing. Here's what I loved about Before the Storm Episode 1. The first thing that I think is important to mention is that this game is a prequel. So it already had Life is Strange, the original game, as a sort of balancing act that it had to both appeal to but separate itself from, which honestly, I thought they did a pretty good job of doing. When they first announced that Life is Strange was getting a different game, a new game, everybody was like, how can there be a sequel considering what happened at the end was either a major character died or everybody died but the major characters? And you're kind of just like, how can you do a sequel? Because people made their choices and you don't want to negate that, but we definitely wanted to see the same characters, and I think making a prequel was the absolute perfect thing to do. There's something really special about the game Life is Strange and the way that it deals with time and history and choices and fate and free will. All of those kind of mesh up together, and the idea of doing a prequel in order to almost enhance that sort of sense of history that comes when you play the original game, I think that that was just a brilliant move. I think that there was no better choice for it. And we get the opportunity to see characters that we know and love and them in their earlier days, like for example Chloe, who I'll definitely get to in a minute. And you get to see Rachel Amber. It's interesting, in Life is Strange, Rachel Amber has this huge presence, but you never actually see her, you never actually meet her. And so the fact that we get to know her in the prequel, in Before the Storm, is just really incredible. I think they had a lot to set up in episode 1 in regards to, let's respect the original content while also developing our own unique sense and our own unique flair. And I, so far, think they've done a really amazing job of that. There were those such amazing references, like right at the beginning when Chloe is on the train tracks and she just jumps off just in time. That already gives us an inkling into her state of mind that we know has come to be in the original Life is Strange. But the train has such an interesting symbolism on its own because it's all about her and Rachel Amber and their meeting and they're getting to know each other and their two truths and a lie situation. So I just think that the train is a perfect example of something that has such intense, crazy symbolism in the original Life is Strange, but something that means something different now that you're playing Before the Storm. I think they did an amazing job of that, and I'm so excited to see what's next. The next thing I want to talk about is the fact that Chloe's voice actress has changed, and I know that was one of our biggest concerns. I wasn't really sure how I was going to feel about that because I tend to, as an actress, really have strong feelings for voice actors connecting to a character. That's something I was really concerned about. The original voice actress for Chloe was played by Ashley Birch. She was amazing, she was vulnerable, she was angsty, she was a little bit awkward, while also being like a freaking cool cat, you know? I just absolutely loved her portrayal of Chloe, and similarly, we love her in Horizon Zero Dawn. She is the perfect Aloy, and I don't know if it was officially announced why Ashley Birch couldn't do the voice of Chloe. It may have had to do with the scheduling conflicts of Horizon Zero Dawn. It may have had to do with the voice actor strike. It may have had to do with the fact that it's a different developer. I have no idea. But either way, I was concerned that we weren't going to see our lovely Ashley Birch as Chloe again. But they cast Rihanna DeVries as the new Chloe in Before the Storm, and drumroll please, I'm impressed. She did a great job. I immediately felt like she had a similar enough character to her voice, a similar enough tone, that it wasn't too jarring, but she did sound slightly younger, slightly more vulnerable, slightly more awkward, and yet she still has these beautiful moments of thought and of wondering and pondering, you know, that quiet moment when you're sitting on a bench and she just does this little wandering dialogue of what's going on in her head right now. I think she does a great job. I think so far she's managed to find the balance between, again, having a character that belongs to her and is her own, but belongs to Ashley Birch and started as Ashley Birch. I think that was really hard, but I think it's important to mention that they brought Ashley Birch on as a writer for Before the Storm. So she's credited as a writer, which is really important to note because, again, that ups the ability to be faithful to the original character of Chloe. Because I really respect the idea that Don't Nod really developed a character with a fullness and a life to her with Ashley Birch, and that it's really not the same without her. So even if she couldn't do the voice because of the voice actor strike, whatever it was, they were able to bring her on as a writer to remain faithful to that amazing, beautiful Chloe spirit that we know and love. And I was really stoked that they did that. I feel like in that particular instance, they did everything right. What's interesting is that Chloe's character is actually a little bit different, though. If you notice, she's taken on this younger, more awkward, kind of unsure, not so much as sassy, but still very sharp, very smart character. What's so interesting about seeing Chloe like this is that it reminds me of Max from the original Life is Strange. A little bit more awkward, a little bit more unsure, definitely not, the cool character that comes in, Chloe's got the hallmarks of the main character who's a little unsure and just has this whirlwind of a person come in and sweep them off their feet. In Before the Storm, it's Rachel Amber, but in Life is Strange, it's Chloe to Max. So they've provided this really interesting reversal of Chloe's character that's absolutely necessary to mirror the foil, the character foil between Max and Chloe in the original game. Now you see that character foil between Chloe and Rachel Amber, and what that does is it gives them both a place to grow. And this is just episode 1, so I know that there's a huge character arc coming. We already know where Chloe's goes. I'm interested to see where Rachel Amber's goes, because right now she's been built as this Rachel Amber, cool kid, this total mystery surrounding her. And we're just now starting to get to know a little bit more about her. So I love that they were able to, again, find a way to mirror the original Life is Strange and what was good about it, while also making it true to their own new thing. The next thing that I feel like I absolutely have to bring up as one of this game's best features is also a feature that it shares with the original Life is Strange. Before the Storm is rife with symbolism. Just absolutely everything has such a deep meaning to it, even the tiniest little things. For example, the train that I was talking about earlier, trains have for a long time been a symbol of so many different things. Transportation, exploration, antiquity, and crossroads, right? You have this idea of train tracks and crossroads, and there's so much meaning hidden there that you can just dig right into, and it's so juicy, and that gives the scenes so much more depth because it's acknowledging a cultural awareness. Another thing that Before the Storm does to bring in a cultural awareness and a setting awareness is it brings in a lot of Native American imagery so far. You know, so far we have Rachel Amber with what looks like a turquoise feather earring, and you have a lot of references to it in Overlook Park. For example, the gigantic 400-year-old tree, which, talk about the symbolism of a burning tree, am I right? But in the placard, if you read it, it says it's 400 to 450 years old, and it's shaped like a chair, which was a Native American tradition of marking culturally significant places. And then you have this history of the founder of Arcadia Bay coming in and trying to form a relationship with Native peoples. And you can't not mention the giant totem with the raven. If you read the placard for that, it says that the raven stands for transformation. It is to be respected but never trusted. It's so deep with symbolism, the raven. The raven is on every single one of your loading screens. It's so interesting that they keep this Native American theme keeps coming up, and at this point it can't be ignored. I would almost be disappointed if it wasn't brought into episode 2. A really amazing channel that you guys should absolutely check out has some amazing theories on Life is Strange. It's called Geek Remix, and I'll link it in the description below. They have so many cool theories about Life is Strange, and they really dig deep into some of those more symbolic moments like that, especially the raven. It's really cool. You guys have to check it out. So that's just one of the things about this game that I feel like makes it bigger than it is. I feel like adding all of these symbolic elements and these deep cultural meanings and messages, but so far it's all just been mysterious. None of it has been like browbeating you over the head. You know, it's in placards and it's in decorations, just kind of on the side, not having to do directly with the story yet. So I think there's something there, and I just love that this game gives you more to think about. That's one thing that brings this game just on a different level than other games. Because this is episode 1, it has a little bit less of this particular element than Life is Strange did, but one of the things I love so much about both this game and the original is that it has these beautiful, teensy tiny details strewn throughout the game that they don't necessarily call attention to, but they're there, and for the people that know what it means, it just rips you apart. So one of the things that hit me really hard in Before the Storm, episode 1, was the moment that Chloe looks at her mom's bed, and it's made for the first time in years. And as someone who understands how difficult everyday tasks can be when you're depressed and you've lost somebody, that is something that maybe seems like a small detail. Oh, mom made the bed today. She doesn't usually make the bed. I wonder what's up. It's like, no, that means something. That is a deep level of understanding of loss and the process of grieving. And the fact that they put that in there as just a little throwaway interactable, just mind-blowing, absolutely mind-blowing. And that's what people mean when they say interact with everything, because if you don't interact with everything, you're gonna miss something. And everybody, because there's so many of these different things, everybody misses something sometimes. And so that's why it adds to the game's replayability, but it also just makes the game so much more personal. It makes the game something that you understand. And the original Life is Strange did amazing. Before the Storm is turning out to do an amazing job as well. The other little tiny detail that I should mention is when Chloe goes downstairs and she looks at a place on the wall that had a picture frame, but she can't remember what that picture was. That's symbolic of the act of you're starting to forget the person that you lost. And how freaking sad and devastating is that? Because if you kind of forget what they were like and time is passing, does that mean you're not honoring their memory anymore? And that's just one of the moments that you can just kind of sink into in this game. Not a lot of games have that, you know what I mean? But this game does, and I think that's really special, and I feel like that's worth mentioning as one of the most amazing parts of this game. Alright, so that was a big, long thing about everything I loved about Before the Storm. And as much as I love the game, there are some things that I have to nitpick about. And some of them aren't even really nitpicks. Some of these are pretty substantial features. One of the biggest differences of Before the Storm from the original game is this addition of Backtalk feature. Something that it gives you an interactable that is specific to Chloe, because Max had her rewind time, which made dialogue a little bit more dynamic. I think that they were trying to mirror that with the Chloe's Backtalk feature. I have a few problems with it, and the number one thing is that it feels very one-dimensional. And it's hard for me to use that term because I'm in my head I can't help but compare it to the dimension of reversing time, which is really hard to match, and I get that. That's a really high bar. But the thing about Backtalk is it's literally got a linear graphic on the screen, and you have one backtalk and he responds, and then you have one backtalk and then he responds, and it just feels very linear. And in addition to that, it's timed, and it's showing you that it's timed, so you have to think really quick on your feet when you're trying to listen to the dialogue and trying to really take in what they're saying as part of important story. You're trying to remember the specific words that stand out as patterns so that you can respond in fashion in the amount of time that you're given. And so the problem that arises is that you're trying so hard to get it right that you're not really listening to what they're saying. And I do have a little bit of a problem with that. I can't even really appreciate the zingers because I'm trying so hard to get the next zinger, if that makes sense. So while there are maybe the ending one I really listen to and respond to, I don't even remember those interactions as strongly, specifically because it's the interaction of it is making it feel a little bit like a mini game, if that makes sense. And I just have sort of a problem with something like that in this game. So in the future, I hope that they address that. I hope that in episodes 2 and 3, they kind of find a way to make that a little bit more important. Additionally, I don't really see the Backtalk feature making much of a difference in my playthrough, and I think that's because I haven't not succeeded at it yet. Maybe it gets harder in the future, but what I'd really like to see is them really make that a problem for me, so that if I don't succeed at the Backtalk feature, I need to actually have my playthrough seriously affected in a way that makes it upsetting to me, if that makes sense. Because that way it matters. The Backtalk feature matters, and it's included in the game for a reason. I think probably that would be my biggest structural problem about the game, and the biggest addition or difference from the original Life is Strange that just doesn't go over that well with me. The second thing that doesn't really strike true for me in this episode is the fact that Rachel Amber, we meet her, she's this cool, amazing person, you know, we don't really know, but we can tell she's a bit of a free spirit, bit of a wild card, and then we look through the viewfinder and she just disappears. And we're like, okay, let's go find Rachel Amber, and you don't find out until later that the whole, you know, she goes and she steals a wine bottle, she steals a bottle of wine from a random nice picnicker. Like, that's pretty inconsiderate. That's pretty rude. I mean, here's the thing. Like, it's one thing to want to get drunk. It's one thing to steal from a store. But to, like, look at this nice couple enjoying their picnic and go, I want to fuck them over by stealing their wine bottle? That's not just, like, reckless and wild card. That's just, like, rude. You know what I mean? That's just, like, a bad person who is really inconsiderate and doesn't care about other people's feelings. I don't know, that really struck me as very exclusively ingenuine, that made me very much dislike Rachel Amber. I wanted to like her, I want to like her so bad because Chloe clearly loves her, but that specific instance, I mean, those picnickers did nothing! You guys can tell I took it really personally. I was like, I don't want to steal this. Why can't Chloe tell her no, you know? But so Rachel Amber takes this wine bottle, she gets drunk, and then she gets super mad at Chloe. She just goes on this absolute temper tantrum like a freaking child. Can't even communicate what she's upset about. It's this whole big ol' thing. And then she goes, "That was my dad kissing some lady under that tree." And you're like, okay, your dad cheated on your mom? They're gonna get divorced? So? That really? To me, it wasn't enough. To be honest, I definitely have trouble explaining why it is that seems ingenuine to me. I know that cheating has levels of betrayal and especially when it's familial, a daughter can feel like, my father must not love me. I'm not enough to keep the family together. I know all those elements are there, but when we've been talking about murder and suicide, I just feel like a dad cheating is just not enough, especially because it was just one kiss. It wasn't like, oh, he's been cheating for years and he's never loved me and all that. It was just, she happened to see one little thing and without getting all the details just blew up and had this enormous life-changing wind power anger. I didn't feel like it was enough. Now I'm going to talk about the one thing that bothers me probably the most so far. This moment that I'm talking about is the dream sequences with the dad in the car. I can tell that they were setting Chloe's dad up to be a sort of representation of her subconscious. You know, the idea of dreams and this surrealist kind of realm is very familiar to the Life is Strange original game, and I can see them trying to bring it into Life is Strange Before the Storm in this episode, but I just feel like it's not surreal enough. I feel like the dad isn't a good enough representation of what she might be feeling. I feel like he's just the driver of a car, and he could be anyone or be saying anything. But what's really going on is the story with Rachel Amber and around Chloe and little, the Tempest poster, little things from her day, from her life. But the thing is it's Chloe's dad, and he would have been an integral real-life character in her life, and that would be expressed in the dream regardless of anything else. So I definitely feel like I'm missing a little bit from that particular aspect, and I also would have liked to see a little bit more variety in the dream sequences. If it's really a true representation of her subconscious, it's not going to be in a car every time. It's going to be whatever it needs to be to send the best message. And so I definitely felt like repetition is powerful, but they could have done more. When you give yourself the freedom of a dream sequence, and it can be anything, you really need to take advantage of that freedom. I think, personally, that was an artistic choice that I was disappointed with. So overall, ask me, what did I think about Before the Storm Episode 1? I loved it. I love this game. I love how it makes me feel. It's such a bittersweet kind of game. And I think that's what made today's format a little bit appropriate, because there are going to be things that you love and there are going to be things that you hate, but more often than not, it's an imperfect game. I say more often than not, but really all games are imperfect. But this one revels and in its own vulnerability as a game, if that can even make sense. The characters are just so good, and you can tell that with the details and the characters and the voice acting, and even, the little details of the set design, the little things that every single person put into this game. We were all worried because it wasn't Dontnod, it was Deck 9. We were all concerned because it was a different developer. But truthfully, I think that they loved this game just as much as the original devs. And I think that that's something that was the most important thing above all else. Because if you can tell that love and care was crafted into this game, you can love it too. And so, even though it's not a perfect game, just like it's not a perfect world, it's beautiful and it's strange and it's unique and it's amazing, and I cannot wait for the next episodes. I'm looking forward to getting a little bit more into Rachel Amber's family story to find out more about that, obviously, because To be honest, I need that to be able to go on this wild Rachel Amber train. I'm excited to see Chloe get a little bit more rebellious. I'm excited to see a few more little tidbits of Joyce and David and how they get closer as Chloe gets farther. It's just so interesting to me, and I'm really excited to see more of Nathan Prescott because his story was so important to the original Life is Strange, almost in a roundabout kind of way. But here, we have the chance to see his origins, and that's going to be really interesting. So I'm excited to see his character arc. I'm just excited for so much more. I'm ready for this journey. So please, episode 2, come out now. I'm ready. I'm waiting. As I'm sure we all are. I know a lot of you love this game just as much as I do, if not more. I've only played it through once, but I've watched my playthrough 1,000,001 times, just trying to dissect every little moment and get every little juicy detail out. And of course, I've seen a few of the alternative scenes in different playthroughs that I didn't play through on my own, which are wonderful, and I encourage you to check out. So this is a great game. I'm excited to see more. That's kind of the gist of it, and I know you guys are too, so let me know what you guys think. One of the great things about opinion-based videos is that it's my opinion, and I would love to hear yours too. I know a lot of you are going to disagree with me on certain things, and that's wonderful. Please leave it in the comments. We can talk about it. We can have some healthy discourse, and it'll be phantasmaphorific. And don't forget to like the video if you enjoyed it. Share it with all your friends so they can enjoy it too. Don't forget to subscribe to Strange Rebel Gaming so you don't miss the next episode. Hit the notification bell so you know when we go live streaming. So that all being said, I love you guys. Bye!